Hi, this is Jamie Steinberg with Starry Constellation Magazine. This is such an interesting and dark but intriguing series for you, all of you, really. Laura, what was it that drew you to be a part of the show?
Well, first of all, when I saw Chris Brancato, my thumbs were up already. And then I read the script and I loved how it was still exploring themes that were in Narcos that he co-created, but in this really different world, in this fabulous setting in 1978 in Miami, in the Mutiny Hotel. And then Janice Nichols, who works in the Mutiny Hotel, I just thought she had so many levels to her, and she's not who she seems at the start, and she's a bit of a chameleon, and I found I was an absolute yes.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Chris created this amazing, fun world. And I really wanted to be a part of that, even though Valeria really isn't a part of the fun and dancing and all of that. But yeah, with Valeria, I was instantly I felt a connection with her. Just because we share a lot in common, especially like immigrating and growing up in a different place and going through that sense of not knowing where you really belong or really fit in. So I fell in love with the character instantly, and I really wanted to play her. Yeah.
Yeah, like my colleagues, as soon as you see Chris Brancaro, you go like, ah, okay, see. But then also the fact that it's such a big Latino cast
Mhm.
and everybody gets to own their own identity, that to me was very special. Also with my origins, Chris was always like very welcoming and what do you want to talk about? What do you want to, what can you bring in to the table, to the story? So even though it's fiction and, you have to tell a certain story, there's a lot of freedom to it. And that was right from the get-go. That to me was really interesting. And it's very creative and motivating, right? Because they trust you. And that's really cool. And also having to explore a love relationship that Marisol has with Roman. I think it's very interesting because relationships always work in a mirror. So you have to really look at yourself and then look at the other person. And that really goes really deep into the characters and more the emotional part of it. So that to me is very interesting.
When talking to Danny, he said there's an interesting relationship between Roman and Valeria because he wants to do better for her. He's putting sort of the Cuban conflict behind him because he has so much love for his daughter. Talk about working with Danny to sort of flesh out this beautiful father-daughter relationship the two of you share on screen.
Yeah, I mean, he really is like a father figure to me in real life. We really grew close, and we worked really hard on the relationship and figuring out what their dynamic is. Sh Valeria, I mean, absolutely adores him. She sees that he has done a lot for her. Especially because of his past. Although she is kind of tired of hearing all of all the stories and all of the whatever. But it's important. It's important to talk about it. Yeah, I think that she really looks up to him, and that is kind of shattered once Nestor comes into the story and Roman really gets sucked into that world. So that dynamic definitely changes as the show goes along.
Tanya, we touched on how interesting and there's so much depth to this series. And we talked about the wonderful work Chris has put into it. Is that what you think is going to make this such a fast fan favorite series and one that people truly invest in the lives of these people?
You mean because of the what I mentioned about everybody owning their own identity? Yeah, I
Yes.
think that makes it really special. like you cannot imagine. A big part of most of the cast, I would say, comes from a Latino background. You have people coming from Cuba, Venezuela, Mexico, Colombia. I come from Spain, which is not Latin America, but it's from a Spanish-speaking country. You have people coming from everywhere, and they represent their characters from their own countries. So they bring a lot of authenticity to it. And I think now all cultures are very much mixed in. So I think everybody will find something of themselves in it.